the last song I wrote for this album.
Yeah, the last one.
We were only given a certain amount of slots to finish out this record. I remember there was a last minute, like, this has to be on, I think I only had 10 slots for this record. And I remember going like, this has to be on this album. This has to. And so that's how it became the 11th song, was everyone heard it and agreed. And I think it's the perfect way to put a period at the end of the sentence.
Just fun session.
It was.
Yeah.
Out in LA.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, as always.
That was a really easy co-write.
It was, and it was fast, from what I remember.
Like 3 hours. I don't know. It was very short.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Rosi had the idea of Light Years.
Yeah, I came in with sort of a concept / title.
I had just signed my record deal. I'd just gotten engaged, and I was kind of saying all these things like, I can't believe how good everything is going for me right now. It feels like almost just like super weird, like how good everything is right now, and kind of going back on that, feeling undeserving in a way, or like things were too good to be true. You know, when is the other shoe gonna fall kind of thing. It was really just about letting myself feel good about good things happening. And I think that is kind of a hard thing to do sometimes when you've been through so much stuff.
I know what we were feeling in those moments. I think LA had a lot to do with it. I think being inspired by, you know, like Rosi, I mean, your mojo of like what you're so good at, and like dropping that little, it's like, you know, we were a glass of water and it was like we got to drop like food coloring in and see, boom, it's like, this is what Rosi can do to a song.
I love this song because the way that it's written feels so much like, almost like a stream of consciousness. And there's so much healing around the feeling of this particular song.
I also think the tension and space in the chorus leans to like something great about to happen.
This is one of my favorite concepts on the entire record, just from the small little shift of what you would expect from that title, and then what you get when you get to the chorus. And we don't make too big of a deal about it, but I love that it lands right there because it's so right. It's a release of tension that I think as a listener, you could get to that chorus and be like, oh, finally. Rosi, your instincts are so good. And even like down to the part about, I remember us, you know, kind of chatting about like, well, should we say like, is right here, here come the light years. And it's so your skill to not overthink that and to like, just let that exist and be beautiful.
I like simplifying things. It's not always the right instinct, but sometimes I think it works. And with a song like that, it is such a simple and clear message that connected to Rachel in such a simple and clear way that I think it doesn't need more than that, which is nice.
The honesty of the bridge is important to me. It's hard not to be afraid, wondering how long this will stay, like, you know, stay in the light years. Once you've lived enough life, it's hard to let yourself free fall again. I think that that's important. I think it's a really good thread of all of these songs. They feel authentic and believable, and like they're coming from a real place. And the production on it, maybe it's just because we wrote them on the same trip, but like it reminds me of who I am right now as well, where it was just like, I don't think this needs that much work.
Also, you know, we wrote just with an acoustic guitar.
I think we all spend so much time in studios writing songs and relying on the beat or, you know, the track or the sounds that we're creating in the room. And while there's so much space for that in the world, and obviously that creates its own magic, there's still, to me, nothing like the idea of sitting with one or two people and a guitar and just very clearly connecting to a feeling without any of the bows.
And I'm glad that we were able to write this song from an acoustic guitar standpoint, because it was like, oh, wow, we felt it in that moment the same way without having all the bells and whistles.
But also what was so fun about the session is we all sang. And so we were harmonizing like the whole time, which I think really helps like move things along, because you can really see the picture when you're doing that and everybody's singing along.
Yeah, and Davis, you did such an awesome job on the production. I mean, like, this was the most different out of all the songs on this album, you know, where you'd already moved to LA, and I basically was just like, we're adding this song. You know, we thankfully got the vocal before you left, and then, you went and built it all up yourself and mixed it yourself as well, which is such a true testament to, you know, your talent. I mean, most people probably would have no idea that we didn't do it just like how we did the rest of them with, you know, Caleb and Rich and Ryan Hewitt and all that.
And I did put some drums in, and like the fun part of it is that I used like samples that we had recorded from the Caleb session.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I have a couple of like just various hits and stuff that.
So Caleb played on it.
Yeah, so Caleb did play on that.
That's nice.
Yeah, it felt cohesive to do that. It was like, well, let's just use the same tones that are on some of this other stuff.
Yeah, and we had our friend Eleanor put strings on it as well, yep. Which, I mean, I think elevated like the whole song just to a whole other level. And I could tell very, very early on, like as soon as we finished that song, I loved it and I knew it was special. And I'm actually so glad because, you know, just especially with what's happening right now, it's a great song to go back to and listen to with this perspective. I think there's a hopefulness to it. Almost in some ways too, going, oh my gosh, you know, we didn't realize how good we had it up until all of this stuff happened. It's just something to look forward to, is just getting back to those light years again.
Yeah, but I think you can also look at it sort of in a way of maybe this will lead to those as well, you know, in the sense that like whatever is happening right now, it really forces you to like look at what's important and kind of get back to basics, you know, and kind of like bring it back to the things that like really matter. It is also something that gives you hope, which is something everybody needs right now.
I loved this song from the moment we wrote it, and I'm really, really thankful that it's the last song because it's just the perfect way to wrap it all up.
It's hard not to be